Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, we are from Accounting major of Sriwijaya University in Palembang. In this video, we will discuss about incomplete independent clauses. Before discuss, let me introduce the member of our group. My name is Salsabila Evelyna Yanti. You can call me Bella.
My name is Siti Rahmawati.
My name is Tarishah Nabilah.
Hello, my name is Tiara Amanda. You can call me Tiara.
My name is Siti Rahmawati. I will explain the meaning of independent clause, dependent clause, simple sentence, and compound sentence. 1. Incomplete independent clause. A clause. Before we explain further about independent clause and dependent clause, we must understand the meaning of clause. Clause, or in Indonesian language, clause, was a combination of two or more words. The condition for the formation of a clause are the existence of a subject and verb. When we see combine a few words that does not contain subject and verb, so the series was not clause but phrase. Clause on divided into two types of, namely independent clause and dependent clause, but are a clause with different property. Independent clause is a clause that already has an idea intact, or it can be said as a complete sentence, so that independent clause can stand alone as one sentence intact and the interpretation of it can be understood. And dependent clause is a form of words that inadequate even though it has main and subject and verb. Dependent clause cannot stand alone for leaving the idea that hangs. It means the meaning of dependent clause could not be understood exactly unless he strung together with independent clause. Sentence. Simple sentence consists of one independent clause. For example, people needs vitamin. People as subject, need as verb. 2. I look for Mary and Samantha at the bus station. I as subject and look as verb. 3. The train was late. The train as subject and was as verb. The use of compound subject, compound verb, prepositional phrase such as at the bus station, and other elements help lengthen simple sentence, but simple sentences often are short. The use of too many simple sentences can make writing copy and can prevent the reading from flowing smoothly. A simple sentence can also be referred to as an independent clause. It is referred to as independent because while it might be part of a compound or complex sentence, it can also stand by itself as a complete sentence. A compound sentence. Compound sentence consists of two independent clauses joined by a coordinating conjunction such as for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. For example, the man took a vitamin pill and he drank a glass of orange juice. The man took a vitamin pill is one independent clause. He drank a glass of orange juice is one independent clause joined by a coordinating conjunction and. 2. I looked for Mary and Samantha at the bus station, but they arrived at the station before noon and left one that bus before I arrived. I looked for Mary and Samantha at the bus station is one independent clause. They arrived at the station before noon and left on the bus before I arrived is one independent clause joined by a coordinating conjunction, but. 3. Mary and Samantha arrived at the bus station before noon, and they left on the bus before I arrived. Mary and Samantha arrived at the bus station before noon is one independent clause, and they left on the bus before I arrived is one independent clause joined by a coordinating conjunction and. Coordinating conjunction are useful for connecting sentence, but compound sentence often are overused. While coordinating conjunction can indicate some type of relationship between the two independent clauses in the sentence, they sometimes do not indicate much of a relationship. The word and, for example, only adds one independent clause to another. without indicating how the two parts of a sentence are logically related. Too many compound sentences that use and can weaken rating. Clear and more specific relationship can be established through the use of complex sentences.
My name is Tarishah Nabilah, and I want to tell you about a complex sentence. A complex sentence has one or more dependent clause. A complex sentence since a dependent clause cannot stand on its own as a sentence. A complex sentence at least have one independent clause. In a short sentence, complex sentence at least have one or more dependent clause and at least one independent clause. For your example, a complex sentence is I like ice cream that contains no milk. In this sentence, I like ice cream, it's an independent clause, and that contain no milk, it's a dependent clause. In this sentence, you can see complex sentence, it's combined dependent clause and independent clause for a one sentence. I think that's all about a complex sentence.
My name is Salsabila Evelyna Yanti. I will explain independent clauses, which are subject, predicate, modifiers, and object. B. Parts of independent clauses. An independent clause only needs two main things: to make sense on its own, a subject and a predicate. But independent clauses may also have modifiers and object. To make them more detailed, 1. Subject. A sentence subject is the thing that is doing. The action often it's just a single noun, a person, place, thing, or idea. But it can also be a gerund or a noun phrase that uses other modifiers. Here are some examples of subject. Andy studies, single noun subject. You work, single noun subject. Giant panda chew, non-verb subject. Traveling is fun, gerund subject. 2. Predicate. A predicate is the word or phrase that expresses a sentence's action. It may be just a single verb or it may be a verb phrase. A verb with its related object and or modifiers. Here are some examples of predicate. The tiger chewed. Single verb. The tiger chewed meat. Verb plus object. The tiger chewed slowly. Verb plus modifier. The tiger chewed meat slowly. Verb plus object plus modifiers. 3. Modifiers. Modifiers are adverbs and adjectives that modify another word by adding more details to it. In independent clauses, they paint a better picture of the subject or the predicate. Here are some examples of modifiers. Chewing slowly. The giant fluffy panda. Travel extensively. 4. Object. An object is a thing in a sentence that receives the verb's action. Many independent clauses will include object to make ideas more complete. Here are some examples of object. 1. They have black and white fur. 2. Andy traveled to China. 3. She loves panda. Missing subjects, verbs, object, and complements. All clauses have a subject and a verb. Clause with an action, verb often take a direct object as well. Example, people need eat. People subject need verb, eat object. The verb missing from an independent clause may be a single word verb, need, was, took, had, would, or a verb phrase consisting of one or more auxiliary verbs and a main verb. Will need, has been, should take, would have had would. The verbs may be active, need, take, or passive, was needed, is taken. The missing subject and direct object may be a noun, people, vitamins, Andy. A noun phrase, some famous people, a vitamin pill. My friends Andy, or a pronoun he, she, it, and they are subject pronouns, him, her, it, and them are object pronouns. After the verbs to be and certain other non-action verbs, a subject complement is used rather than a direct object. Subject complements are also known as predicate nominative and predicate adjective. Example, she is an architect. She subject is verb and architect complements.
Hello, my name is Tiara Amanda. You can call me Tiara. So, right now, I'm gonna explain about clauses with and it of incomplete independent clause. Incomplete independent clause. An independent clause is a group of words that contains a subject and verb and expresses a complete thought. An independent clause is synthesis. Example, Jim studied in the sweet soap for his chemistry quiz. Connecting independent clause. There are two types of words that can be used as a connector at the beginning of an independent clauses. Coordinating conjunction independent marker word. 1. Coordinating conjunction. 7. Coordinating conjunction used as a connecting words at the beginning of an independent clause are and, but, for, or, no, so, and yet. When the second independent clause in synthesis begins with the coordinating conjunction, a comma is needed before the coordinating conjunction. Example, Jim studied the sweet soap for his chemistry quiz, but it was hard to concentrate because of the noise. 2. Independent marker words. An independent word is a connecting word used at the beginning of an independent clause. These words can always begin as sentences that can stand alone. When the second independent clause in synthesis has an independent clause word, a semicolon is needed before the independent marker words. Example, Jim studied in the sweet soap for his chemistry quiz. However, it was hard to concentrate because of the noise. Some common independent markers are also, consequently, furthermore, however, moreover, nevertheless, and therefore. Some common errors to avoid. Comma splice. A comma splice is the use of a comma between two independent clauses. You can usually fix the error by changing the comma to a period and therefore making in the two clauses into two separate sentences by changing the comma to a semicolon, or by making one clause dependent by inserting a dependent marker words in front of it. Example, incorrect, I like this class, it is very interesting. Correct, I like this class, it is very interesting. Or I like this class, it is very interesting. Or I like this class, it is very interesting. Or I like this class because it is very interesting. Or because it is very interesting, I like this. Few sentences. Few sentences happen when there are two independent clauses not separated by any form of punctuation. Error is also known as run-on sentences. The error can sometimes be corrected by adding a period, semicolon, or colon to separate the two sentences. Example, incorrect, my professor is intelligent, I've learned a lot from her. Correct, my professor is intelligent, I've learned a lot from her. Or, my professor is intelligent, I've learned a lot from her. Or, my professor is intelligent and I've learned a lot from her. Or, my professor is intelligent, moreover, I've learned a lot from her. C. Clauses with there and it. Some clauses begin with introductory words, there or it, rather than with the subject of the sentences. These introductory words are sometimes called expletive. The expletive words shows that someone or something exists, usually at a particular time or place. These sentences generally follow the pattern there plus verb to be plus subject. Example, There are many skyscrapers in New York City. There was a good movie on television last night. The expletive it used in a number of different situations and patterns. Example, it is important to be punctual for appointment with the verb to be plus adjective plus infinitive. Example number 2, it was in 1959 that Alaska became a state with the verb to be plus arrival plus noun clause. Example number 3, it is a long time to learn a language with the verb to take plus time phrase plus infinitive. Example number 4, it was David who did most of the work with the verb to be plus noun plus relative clause. It and there along with the verb and other sentence elements may be missing from the stem.